everybody, and welcome back to the Aurora C# hype train. I, of course, am Sir Beardian, and today we're going to try and make this a little bit of a quick one. So let's just get stuck right into it. First change is human NPRs are added. C# has a new option for NPR generation called human NPRs. If this option is selected when an NPR is generated, except for starting NPRs, there is a 1/3 chance that a check is made to see if the NPR is human. Human in this context is a species of the oldest population of the oldest player race. This is because you may want to play as a non-human race or modified human race and still retain the option of your species appearing as an NPR. If the check is made and the system body is capable of supporting humans, then the species of the new NPR will be human. Human NPRs will generally be smaller, on average about half the size, of normal NPRs. You also gain +20 to communication check when two races have the same primary species. This option is to allow a campaign taking place in the aftermath of the collapse of a large human empire. As the empire, or one of its major populations, expands once again, human remnant populations may still be found in distant systems. So that's a fun little piece of roleplay that has been added. Next up, mining company names. This is only a minor cosmetic change. Haha, Steve, haha. When civilian mining companies are created, they will be given a company name which will become the population name. This is similar to shipyard naming using a family name from the racial naming theme, plus a company name such as Smith Minerals and Ores or Jones Resources Group. This is purely cosmetic and has no gameplay impact, but serves to differentiate the civilian mining outposts. Note that this doesn't rename the system body. Population and system body names are separate in C# Aurora. Awesome! So you can still create your own population with a different name on the same system body. The economics window already has an option to show both system body name and pop name if they are different, so you can still see the locations if desired. Very nice. Next up, we have another cosmetic change. A new tab on the fleet window lists your forces by system in text format. This is intended partially as a quick reference, but mainly to allow easy posting of current deployments into an AAR, or after action report. Any military ships over 1,000 tons have their names listed. There may be some more options in the future for more flexibility on what is displayed. So that is, once again, a fun little piece for roleplay purposes. You can also now add your own naming themes. Adding your own naming themes is very simple in C#. Create a text file with one name per line, click the button shown below, enter the theme name in an input field that pops up, select the file using a standard Windows file dialog box. The name theme is added to the database for the current game and all future games. So this is already in VB6, it's just now been made a lot simpler in C#, so that's cool. We also have a new tab, Survey Site List. Given the number of potential ground survey sites, it could be difficult to keep track. Therefore, there is a new tab on the tactical map that contains a list of current known sites. So that's handy. I'm interested to know if this only shows unsurveyed sites, or if it has some kind of flag that tells you if it's been surveyed or not, because that would be useful. Just having a plain list without any references to what's been done and what hasn't, significantly less useful. Alright, next up, a new logistics report tab on the fleet window lists all relevant ships for each of 5 categories: fuel, maintenance supply points, ordnance, deployment time for crew, and time since overhaul. A drop-down is used to select each category, and the ships are sorted by the most affected in the selected category. The screenshot here shows an example of 4 of these categories. MSP is very similar to fuel. Next, ship ordnance templates. In VB6, you can set an ordnance template for each class. When a ship loads ordnance, it will load ordnance based on that parent class template. For C#, you can create optional ship ordnance templates. If a template is created at the individual ship level, it will override the parent class template when the ship loads ordnance. So that means you can have like 3 colliers with one type of magazine, and then the same class of collier carrying a different loadout. So you can have multiple loadouts in your fleet. If there is no template at the ship level, the parent class template will be used. A new tab on the ship section of the Naval Org window shows the class and ship ordnance templates for each ship, plus the current actual loadout for the ship. This tab can be used to change the ship ordnance template in a similar way to setting the class ordnance template on the class window. You can copy the existing class ordnance template into the ship template if you only want to make minor changes. You can also rename and obsolete missiles from this tab. The first screenshot here shows a ship with a class template but no ship template. This screenshot shows a recon-focused ship ordnance template. So it's got these auger torpedoes, which are sensor torpedoes that Steve used in his campaign. Next up, we have the tracking time bonus versus missiles. It has been fixed, that's right. Energy weapons and beam fire controls engaging missiles can gain a bonus to their tracking speed based on how long the missile has been on active sensors. Similar functionality was added in VB6, but is not working. The benefit of this has been toned down a little from the planned functionality in VB6, as fuel considerations in C# will reduce the max boost used for anti-ship missiles and avoid the late-game missile speed versus tracking speed disparity. The gain in tracking speed is equal to 1% for every 5 seconds a missile is continually tracked by active sensors. This is subject to a maximum time based on the associated tracking time tech. The starting tech costs 1000 RP and adds tracking bonus for the first 30 seconds. The tech name format is max tracking speed for bonus versus missiles, 30 seconds, 6%. This time increases with subsequent tech to 45, 60, 80, 120, 160, 200, 250, 320, and 400. Each tech is approximately double the cost of the previous one. Note that this is a bonus to tracking speed, not the base to hit chance. If the tracking speed is already higher than the missile speed, this bonus will not improve the chance to hit. Steve considered adding this to all energy weapon fire for consistency, but decided it was reasonable to keep it to missiles only, given their more predictable courses, rather than ships which are duking and evading. Now, it should also be noted that the 400 times, if you do some quick math, equals out to about 80%, so you can almost double your effective tracking speed versus missiles, which is pretty useful. So we'll see how that plays out exactly. Next up, we have a tactical map pop-up menu. When you right click on the TAC map, any fleets, populations, or jump points within a few pixels of where you click will appear in a list. If you select a population, the economics window will load with the population selected. If you select a fleet, the naval org window will load with the fleet selected. If you select the jump point, which appears as a name of any destination system, the TAC map will change to that system. So just a nice bit of quality of life there for the UI for when you have multiple contacts in the same location, which is pretty cool. And next we have naming options for ships. In C# you can choose a naming theme for all the ships of a certain class, just like you can in VB6. C# also adds some new options. You can choose for each class whether you want the names from the theme to be selected in order or selected randomly. Each class has prefix and suffix name options. So for example, wind class destroyers can be order named Arctic Wind, Bitter Wind, Cold Wind, Desert Wind, or Dragon class carriers could be order named Red Dragon, Night Dragon, Gold Dragon, Shadow Dragon, etc. So if you create a colored naming theme, for example, you can apply it to many different classes, but with a different prefix or suffix, which is pretty awesome, which means that we're going to have a lot more variety in our automated ship names, especially since you can add your own, which is really, really cool. Next, jumping back to more mechanical changes, final defensive fire has been changed. In VB6, a fire control can only fire at a single target in any increment. For C#, an exception is made for fire controls firing in automatic final defensive fire mode. A fire control in this mode will continue to fire on incoming salvos as long as it has unfired weapons remaining. Each individual weapon or turret will only be able to engage a single salvo. This means point defense ships no longer need a large number of fire control systems, although there is still a design choice in terms of redundancy. In VB6 Aurora, missiles moved in descending order of speed. This has been updated in C# to descending order of speed, then by descending order of salvo size. The largest salvos of the same type of missile will move first and be engaged first by final defensive fire. Now, this once again drastically shifts the balance towards point defense, because now you can get more guns and less fire controls. And fire controls with the 4 times tracking speed bonus so that you can actually track missiles effectively are big and expensive. So we're going to get more guns on target. The other thing to consider is that now the age-old tactic of firing multiple smaller salvos no longer really is effective, because their point defense fire is just going to sweep through all of those salvos. This also, however, is a little bit of a buff to missile fire controls and missile play, because now you don't have to stack all your missiles across like 6 different fire controls just so you have 6 salvos. Interestingly enough, it also this also completely kills the time on target. I think this seems familiar. We may have talked about this. But the time on target tactic, where you fire 1 missile every cycle as you move forwards at the same speed as your missile, and then it switches to second stage for the terminal approach. That tactic is now no longer effective. It is completely dead. Weapons will just sweep right through those. The only issue, of course, is that the individual weapon or turret will only be able to engage a single salvo. So there is still some benefit because, like, for example, a Gauss cannon or like a quad Gauss cannon that has like 16 shots will only be able to engage a single salvo, even if that salvo is just 1 missile. So the time on target is still going to be effective. It just has been severely negatively affected. So it's nowhere near as effective, but it will still be at least a little bit effective. So yeah, we'll see exactly how that plays out. Next up, huge change to mechanics. C# Aurora no longer continually updates to disk in the same way as VB6, which is one of the reasons why it is much faster. This also means that it doesn't autosave. Instead, there is a save button. When you click save, the database prior to the save is copied to a new file called Aurora DB SaveBackup.db, and then the Aurora DB file is updated with the current game. The previous Aurora DB SaveBackup.db is copied to a file called Aurora DB Previous SaveBackup.db. Yeah, righto. That's fairly straightforward. So you have automatic backups of your last 2 saves. To restore a previous save, you need to delete auroradb.db, rename the backup file to auroradb.db. So, fairly straightforward, not very imaginative, doesn't need to be. If you close without saving, then your game will revert to the last save. Saving takes about 30 seconds. This has been a part of C# Aurora from the start, but yeah, apparently hasn't been officially mentioned until now. Now, this is really cool. This is really cool. But it's going to catch a lot of old-timers out. This time the old-timers are the ones who are going to get caught out, because up until now we've been working on Aurora auto-saving every single time, and the second you get a crash, you can just kill the game, no big deal. Now, you're going to have to make sure you hit that save button every once in a while, otherwise you're going to lose hours and hours of gameplay. New players who come off games like Stellaris, they probably won't get caught too much, but old-timers I expect are going to get caught a lot more with not saving as frequently as they should be. So that is a very cool change. And probably the last one for today, new surrender mechanics, an AI fleet. Fleet, mind you, not a colony, a fleet. An AI fleet may surrender to the enemy in certain circumstances. Generally, the fleet will have to be unarmed, badly damaged, or not capable of fulfilling its mission, and also be under attack from energy weapons. In that situation, the fleet may try to evade, it may surrender, or it may attempt to ram. The chances of each will depend on the determination and xenophobia of the crews. Certain spoiler races also will not surrender, for obvious reasons. When a ship surrenders, the overhaul factor is set to 0.01, the same as a ship captured by boarding. Now, this is really awesome, and this is going to help bring energy weapons and gunfire into the forefront, because it doesn't apply to missile fire. So you want to get into energy weapon range against targets and the hope that they will actually surrender. On the other hand, they may also attempt to ram. So, double-edged sword. We'll see. We'll see. Alright, and that is it for today. Join me tomorrow where I will continue covering the changes for C# every day for the rest of this month. Not that there's much of it left. Down below, links to the official Aurora Discord, Reddit, and forums where you can join the discussion and the hype. And I will see you next time.